This is me on a Tuesday morning. Everything's completely fine, systems are running great, but the oxygen is a little bit low, but honestly, who needs that much oxygen? My strategy is simple, just keep going. Don't stop, don't look at the alarms, and definitely don't ask why you're exhausted by 2 p.m. Just push through. Here's the thing nobody told me. That exhaustion, that brain fog, that feeling of running on fumes by noon, that's not weakness, that's not laziness. Those are warning lights, and most of us have been ignoring them for years. You're not broken, you're not falling behind, you're just running a full life on an empty tank. And that's what I call the gray zone. So let me ask you a question. If a space station was slowly losing oxygen, would you blame the astronaut for struggling? That space station you just watched, that's not science fiction. That is most people that I know still functioning, still showing up, still getting things done, but quietly losing more than they're recovering. And the part that gets me every time, they have no idea that it's happening. So welcome to day one of the Big Shift Challenge. My name is Chris. I'm a practitioner, I'm a father, I'm someone who has spent the last decade helping people figure out why life feels harder than it should. So over the next 5 days, I'm going to share with you something that most health content completely skips over. And it's not a new diet, it's not a new morning routine, it's an understanding of what is actually happening inside your body when you feel like you're running on empty. So each day is gonna start with a video just like the one that you just watched, because what you just saw isn't random. It's based on something real and something that I've watched happen to people that I care about, including my own mother. So a few years ago, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And when that stuff happens in your family, everything shifts overnight, okay? Health stops being a secondary concern. It becomes something that is non-negotiable. It's non-optional. In fact, it becomes urgent. We changed her food, we changed her exercise. She even started getting massages on a regular basis. She started paying attention to her body for the first time in her life. And what I watched wasn't just a physical transformation. Her energy had changed. Her mood had changed. The way she got things done changed. She was, in fact, becoming a healthier version of herself. But unfortunately, there is a moment in the story where she gets cleared from her diagnosis, right? She's cancer-free. So you would think, happy ending, right? But not quite, because within a few months, she slowly and quietly drifted back towards her old habits. All of those bad habits started coming back. It wasn't a big decision. It wasn't a dramatic moment. It wasn't a moment where she made a decision to go back into her bad habits. It was a gradual drift back to the way things were before the diagnosis. And I remember sitting there with that idea and thinking, I understand that cancer was terrifying. I can't even imagine what she had gone through. It's terrifying for the whole family. But this is an issue in itself. That quiet pulling back into this moment where you start neglecting your health once this crisis is over, you think everything's done. But that's the part that nobody talks about. That's the part that nobody warns you. And that is exactly what you saw in that video in the beginning, where I'm floating in space trying to repair everything. That astronaut, that space station, it wasn't destroyed. The astronaut wasn't quitting. It was leaking oxygen, and the warning, the flashing lights were going off. And something invisible was preventing from that ship from being repaired. This is what I want you to understand. That whole thing is what I call the gray zone. The gray zone isn't when somebody hits rock bottom. It isn't when somebody has a complete breakdown. It's that moment in time when you're not really sick, but you're not really feeling the best to do anything to fix it either. But you're still working, you're still clocking in hours, you're still being a parent, still doing what needs to be done, but something deep down inside just feels completely off. And you're more tired than you should be. You don't feel the same. You're a much older, you're a much more tired version of what you used to be. Maybe you feel more irritable than you want to be. But you're getting through the day, but you're not really enjoying it. You're not really living it because something deep down inside just doesn't feel right, but it's not urgent enough for you to fix it. So we just explain it as in, that's just the way life is. You tell yourself that this is fine. You tell yourself that maybe because everyone else is going through the same thing, it's fine for you to feel this way, right? Or maybe you tell yourself that it's just the busy season in my life. What ends up happening is that we drift. The drift literally continues. And here is the false belief that most of us carry. Once I feel better, I'm gonna be good. But the truth is, by you feeling better is not the end goal, okay? Feeling good is maybe the start to a good day. Feeling good is what you do when you eat a nice sugary meal. We can feel good in a lot of different ways, so it's not the finish line. When you say, I want to feel better, or when I feel good, maybe that's a sign that I'm doing better. Feeling good is simply a starting point because the gray zone is not going to get you all at once. I like to personify the gray zone as this monster, okay? This gray zone monster, it waits for you to stop paying attention to your own health. And once you stop paying attention, this is where that scene comes in, where you slowly start drifting and you don't even realize it. Now, this is where the science comes in, okay? And I'm going to keep this as simple as possible. When your body's under a lot of stress, okay, your stress hormones and your nervous system stays in a state of heightened alert. Your body will keep producing what's called cortisol. And cortisol is your main stress hormone to keep you energized, to keep you going, to keep your immunity heightened and healthy. And for a while, cortisol is very good for you. But over time, as that load builds, that load to cortisol and everything that happens because of cortisol, scientists call this your allostatic load. And this just means the wear and tear that stacks up as a result of stress that's never fully cleared from your body. So I want you to think of it like this. Okay? I have my phone. Think of it like this. Think of it like a phone that never fully gets charged. So I take my phone, I plug it in, and I charge it for 20 minutes. I take it out, and I run every single app. I turn on the flashlight, I'm playing music, I'm playing every game I can imagine. So we're using the phone very hard, only for it to die, and then I plug it in again. So the phone, the paradox is this: the phone is never dead, but it's never fully charged. And eventually what happens to this poor old phone, what eventually happens is that the battery starts to degrade. And that's what chronic stress is doing to your body. Your nervous system starts spending way too much just to keep you functional, and there's nothing left over for you to feel good. Now, furthermore, researchers call this a high functioning burnout state. And you might look fine on the outside, and you're still performing, but internally, deep down inside, your mental bandwidth is shrinking. You have decision fatigue, okay? Your body is quietly burning out of all its resources, and the dangerous part is that you're going to get used to this. The low energy starts to feel normal. The tension in your shoulders starts to feel normal. The short fuse, the brain fog, the clocking out by 6 p.m. All of that starts to feel like it's just the way things are meant to be. And that is survival mode. And when survival mode feels normal, you stop looking for a way out. Now, I see this in my clinic every single day. A parent comes in, they're exhausted, but they're still functioning. We work together for a few appointments. They start sleeping better. Sleep improves. Their stress drops dramatically, and their body starts miraculously responding. And as soon as they start feeling better, they stop coming in. And it's not because anything went wrong, but literally because they started feeling better. And within a few months, they are back. They're more tired, they're more tense, they're disconnected more than before, and they're right back in the gray zone. So your life can look completely fine while you're in this quietly, slowly breaking down body where all the lights are flashing telling you that you need help, but you might feel like your body is fine. And that's the trap. This is the cycle that this challenge is designed to break. So for today, it's not about fixing anything specifically. Today, just bear with me, is about noticing. Because you can't change what you can't explain. Okay? So today's homework is called the Gray Zone Scorecard. And I want you to rate yourself honestly in 4 key areas. There's your sleep, there's your stress, sedentary, and sorenesses. This is what you call the 4 S's of chronic health. And I want you to give each one of these a score from 0 being, I feel good, it's not really bugging me, to 10 means I am going crazy because I cannot take anymore. I'm about to go crazy. And I want you to not overthink this. Just go with your gut, use your intuition, because when you finish, I want you to have something that most people never have, which is a clear picture of where your body is leaking energy. And it's likely coming from one of these 4, your sleep, the stress, lack of movement, or because you're dealing with body soreness. So this is your first challenge for today, is the Gray Zone Scorecard. And once you've done it, what I want you to do is I want you to take your results and I want you to go to the community garden and I want you to post your score. I want you to share what is your biggest leak, because you might be surprised how many people are sitting in the exact same numbers as you. And once you're in the community, just let us know what day you're on and let us know where you're starting at with the results that you have, okay? So if you want to go deeper on these results, and if you actually want to understand your scorecard and what it means to build a game plan around this, I have a limited spot of private one-on-one support during this challenge. If you're interested, the link is somewhere here down below. But either way, I will see you in tomorrow's video, because tomorrow we're going to talk about another video where I was in what I think paradise. I was on a family vacation in the Dominican Republic and I couldn't seem to enjoy it because of the stress that I was going through. It'll make sense in tomorrow's video. I will see you in the next